Good evening and welcome to HR Law Summer 2015 LP1 Seminar. My name is Jennifer Utter and I am instructing this class this summer and happy to be here. So what we're going to do in this first LP seminar is a brief content overview, but the important part of the content that I'd like you to get for tonight is really the information about the sources of law, the hierarchy of law, and give you some insight into analyzing cases using the IRAC format. So a little more discussion about the hierarchy of laws. If you have everyone is covered by federal law, and that's the law of the land. The federal law is the minimum law that each state must implement, and that includes information from the U.S. Supreme Court. And what courts do, of course, is interpret the Constitution and interpret the laws that are passed by the Congress. The law of the land is the U.S. Constitution, and the legislative actions that occur each year as enacted by either the Senate or the House of Representatives, as well as administrative agencies can take administrative action. And those federal regulations then can be an important part of the law of the land. Those federal regulations can be issued based upon notice or based upon just the administrative agency taking that action. All of a sudden the regulations are out there, but generally there is a notice process, whether it's for regulations at the federal or state level. So when you get to the state level, we also have state Supreme Court actions as well as the state legislative actions. Those take effect each year. Here in South Dakota, the new laws are enacted between January and March, and they take effect in July. So every state has a different time when their laws take effect and their different legal fiscal year. So check that out for yourself in your own state. States can also have administrative agencies which take administrative actions and have administrative hearings, and also states can have their own regulations in addition to the federal. The states can give more protection to people, but they can never give any less protection than the federal law mandates. Of course, you might have local, county, parish, or municipality laws, and there's also the administrative laws that come about as a result of action at these local, at all these levels. The administrative laws come about as a result of administrative action for agencies at federal, state, and local levels. But certainly with the local, county, parish, or municipality laws and all the administrative laws, they occur upon notice to the public and they can change very, very quickly. Analyzing legal cases is not difficult, but there is a specific format to follow when you're analyzing these cases. And so what I would like you to look for, you might not always see it in your summary of the cases, but if you're looking at a full-blown legal case, the entire text, think about this acronym IRAC and look at the case with this acronym in mind. The I stands for issue. And how the issue is framed in a legal case can make or break the case based upon what the current legislative law is, as well as the current case law, which sets the precedent for considering and deciding future cases. How that issue is framed is a legal art, and that is we're taught in school, and we're also taught by experience that if you don't have the facts, you need to argue the law. And if you don't have the law, you need to argue the facts, because you're always trying to show a decision maker, whether it's a judge or a jury or an administrative law judge, that here's your specific issue, and here's everything that's gone on before. And so sometimes you're saying, Judge, follow everything that's gone on before. Or sometimes you're saying, Judge, it's time to overturn what's gone on before because it no longer fits the current law. And it is a very be very, very careful as you are looking at cases to make sure that the issue, just notice how the case issue is framed. So the next portion, so that's the first portion of any type of legal writing, is you're going to say the issue in this case is whether or not age discrimination applies to Ms. Utter's claims, something like that. The next portion of your case or any type of writing that you're going to look at is the part that talks about the rules. And that part is going to say, well, in the past, here's all this legislation, here's all this past case law, and then it's going to all come, and there's going to be some discussion of that. So don't get distracted when this portion about the rule and the people writing it are talking about these old cases. That doesn't mean they're talking about the new case. They're just talking about the old cases, and they're reviewing the history and what the current law is. And then there's a portion of the case that talks about the analysis or the application. And that's where the case says, or the judge says, based upon all of these laws and cases, we're going to apply those laws in this case, in the facts of this specific case, as follows. And either your case is going to fall within the parameters of the previous laws and cases, or it's going to fall outside the previous laws and cases. If it falls within, then you might get a decision that is that follows those laws. If it does not fall within the parameters of any of those cases, you're possibly going to get some kind of new decision. And as we have recently seen, those analysis portions can be contested. For instance, if there are 9 justices on the U.S. Supreme Court and in a 5-4 decision, they make a decision, then that's a really close decision. When there's a unanimous decision by all justices, there's always an odd number of justices, so that there's always going to be a winner. There's always going to be some type of winner or precedent setting, and all types of ways that the judges can make their conclusions. But then what they're going to do is they're going to take those facts, they're going to apply it to the law that they've all talked about, and they're going to come to the conclusion. Do your facts fit the law or not? It's really quite an interesting process. Once you get the hang of reading those, then you'll really enjoy reading legal cases a lot more. I can definitely see how a person who is not aware that this is the type of writing and organization that those cases take might get a little confused. Why are they talking about all this? Now you know. So we're going to shift now. If you have any questions about the hierarchy of laws or analyzing cases, you'll get better at it as we go. I'm not expecting you to be an attorney, but I just want you to be educated as to what you're looking at, and especially if you're going to be working in the HR field or in any type of management, this is a huge portion of your education, is to know how the law works, how it's made, and how cases are announced and analyzed. So let's move into now some specific information about expectations and course information. I am a real advocate of budgeting your time in advance, getting a calendar out, putting those due dates for yourself so that it's a visual for you. Maybe you print out that calendar, or maybe you get one of those dry erase marker calendars. I happen to have one of those, so I can change it all the time. Put those due dates in so that you have a visual. Put reminders for yourself on your phone calendars if you use your phone calendar regularly. Do whatever it takes to help you set yourself up for success. Check the announcements portions regularly for LP Seminar information, for updated course information, and any Q&As. If there's some great questions that I think might be helpful for all of the class to see, the answer to, then I'll put those in the announcements also. It's just an easy way. I'm not going to worry about you checking your email. I'm just going to have you check that in the course announcements section. Also, we're going to make sure to do all our communications through the course email. Telephone calls are welcome at all times. I just want you to know I will confirm those through course email. We really want to try, and we also have several NAU employees and that are also in the class, people that work in and around NAU campuses. And so I have another NAU email, and I'll certainly answer those when I can, but you can regularly reach me through the course email, and I will also confirm any contacts outside of that in the course email. But our preference is, and it's for administrative purposes as well, that we communicate through the course email, and that just makes it easy. With regards to the due dates, there is a 10% deduction for every day that your submission is late, whether that's an assignment or a discussion. I understanding that there are times when things come up and life happens. However, please notify me as soon as possible if you're going to be requesting any type of extension. I don't often grant them, but if somebody's in the hospital, I have granted them. And I will give you prior written approval before the deadline. So if you contact me after the deadline and say, I couldn't make the deadline for whatever reason, then that is not sufficient. However, I would encourage you, even if you're late and even if it's past 5 days, go ahead and submit something. And some points are better than 0 points. And you'll gain the learning from that activity as well. And I do award partial points for those late submissions and honor your work in that way. We will be evaluating all papers in this class, as well as discussions according to the APA 6th edition formatting requirements. And so that's what I'm looking for when you're in your assignment submissions, in your discussions, and when you make internal references to your citations, and then the reference citation itself, the reference page itself, look to the APA formatting. Once you get the hang of APA, and this is not everybody's first class, but it does take a few classes to really get the hang of APA, but once you get it, it really is not a big deal. But this is just a way for us all to communicate those citations in a way that we can each find them and we know what information is included, and that's how academic writing works. So we're using APA format at NAU. Look ahead now to the final project and begin to identify your company. Just look over the topics, see what might interest you the most. Look to see if you can find a company that's in the news. If you're going to use your company currently, you're able to do so, but you need to be anonymous, okay? So even if you work for NAU and you want to use some kind of NAU policy and complete your final project with that, it needs to be phrased as ABC Company. And if you work for Coca-Cola, it's ABC Company. And so you are not to use the current information. If it's something that you find online, for instance, if it's a big company that has all of their policies online, then you can use that company. So IBM, maybe they have their information on the web, and you can use that company website and the company information. I've seen some very interesting papers based upon if you don't choose your own company, choose a company that you are hoping to work for in the future, or a company that is just fun or that you're interested in, that has a good issue that's come up, that's maybe been in the news, and you want to give them some proposals. But the real benefit of looking ahead to the final project and determining your company during at least up until LP2, you have to just notify me through email. There's instructions in the content. As you read through the LPs and you read through the books, you're thinking about your company the whole time. And it just makes the class more interesting and gives you some great ideas for how you can phrase the policies that you're going to be suggesting to help your chosen company improve their HR practices. Just makes it more interesting. So enjoy the journey in this class, I encourage you. There are very interesting topics. We have immediate application because any of us that are currently working or have ever worked in the past or plan to work in the future are really going to be interested in these topics. Of course, lawyers are going to remain necessary. We would never work ourselves out of a job, but what your goal is in this class is to be able just to identify the legal issues in human resources, evaluate whether or not your business should take action, and the best means to use when you're trying to avoid lawsuits or administrative fines. As an educated HR management person, or just as a management person in general with your MBA or your MM, these are just being able to look at a case and identify whether or not it's going to apply to your business is a very important skill to have, and that's what we're hoping that you gain out of this course. So be sure to keep everything simple. I like this quote by Albert Einstein. Any intelligent fool can make things bigger and more complex. It takes a touch of genius and a lot of courage to move in the opposite direction. I have listed that quotation here as well as a citation from the NAU online library. And here is your LP1 Seminar assessment activity. Please evaluate the citation of the quote in light of APA formatting requirements. So cite your reference from your APA manual. So if you don't have this blue APA manual, it's a little one, 6th edition. Now is the time to pick one up. Post your correct citation and the reference from the manual in the LP1 Seminar Dropbox. So you're going to be rewriting this citation. I'll tell you right now, it's not exactly correct. And you're going to be rewriting this citation, and then you're going to say, I found the place to cite this book, APA Manual, 6th edition, whatever the year is, and it's going to be on a certain page. It's going to say, here's how you cite the book, or here's how you cite an article from a book or from a journal. And so you're looking for the scholarly journal citation requirements. And it shouldn't take you very long, especially if you've really got the APA down, but it's in the book. And my purpose here is to see that you know how to create a correct APA citation for a scholarly journal article, and that you know how to look it up in your APA manual. So you've got a lot of reading to do in this class, and thank you for your time and attention in this LP1 seminar.